It's day 20 of the month of December in the year 2025. Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news hub here at Adesawikanda. We are live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana and on DSTV is channel 279. My name is George Crane. Top of the stories are President's Special Envoy for the Sahel receives Nigerian aircraft and crew just released by the Burkinabe authorities after being detained allegedly for violating Burkinabe airspace. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga denies claim of possible constitutional amendment to grant President Mahama a third term, but says bad choices lies with Ghanaians. Also coming up this afternoon, Education Minister entreats striking teachers of the Colleges of Education Association of Ghana (CTAG) to call off their strike since government has initiated steps to pay the $41 million CD arrears owed them. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from here. The President Special Envoy for the Sahel, Colonel Larry Gbevlo Latte, has received the Nigerian aircraft and its crew just released by the Burkinabe authorities after being detained allegedly for violating Burkinabe airspace. A press statement signed by Minister of Government Communications, Phyllis Ofosu-Kwakye, indicated that Colonel Gbevlo Latte welcomed the aircrew on behalf of the President and commended the Nigerian and Burkinabe governments for resolving the disputes amicably through diplomatic means. He said the incident is an indication that we are brothers and sisters in the West African sub-region and can resolve differences in a neighborly manner. The crew will rest in Ghana while conducting their technical checks and awaiting clearance to continue their flight to Portugal, where the aircraft is due for servicing. Well, let's still on this very matter and speak to Dr. Victor Doke, who is a lecturer, Faculty of Academic Affairs, Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, how does this incident reflect Ghana's diplomatic influence in the Sahel region?
Well, thank you very much. I think this incident shows how we have positioned ourselves to becoming what I term as the regional hegemony. Because when you look at the aspect of leadership in the region, for some time now, we don't see that role. We only see the organizations such as ECOWAS and AU playing, but then you need individual states that would take, some steps with regards to diplomacy, deepening relationships, and then playing that very key hegemonic role in diplomacy and conflict prevention. So you can link this to the role with regards to our president having appointed the next AU chair, and then you can conclude that based on that, the aspect of hegemonic role and responsibilities is what we are sort of like picking up and wanting to do, which is in the right direction. So for the two states, Burkina and then Nigeria, to also conclude these states' personnel is in the right direction. So I think in the spirit of good diplomacy and then conflict prevention, conflict management, this is the right thing to do. And for us to receive them also talks about the multilateral aspect of diplomacy.
Doc, all these countries are part of ECOWAS. So what implications does the amicable resolution have for the bloc cooperation?
So I think what the implication it has is, one, we need to understand that when it comes to regional dynamics, the aspect of prevention conflicts is very key. Managing them is very key. But overall, how do we enhance our diplomatic ties? The bilateral relationships that we have that exist needs to be built upon. So we can do this in various forms, using soft diplomacies and then whatnot. So I think going forward, what we need to do is engage more and then sort of like build that spirit around collaborations, coordination, which is very key. Communication is very important in this aspect and it ties to diplomacy. So I think in all, we are on the right trajectory. But going forward, I think we need to understand each other more and build that strong diplomatic ties.
Okay, Doc, so Ghana is the mediator in all of this. How does its role as a mediator impact its relationships with Nigeria and Burkina Faso?
So we are at a strategic position, being a mediator, get to understand the interests and wants of both parties or conflict aspects. So it puts you in that very advantageous position to now link or use with every party easily. And as a mediator, you also get your respect, get confidence in dealing with these two. You are seen as a neutral and respected party. So our position is very key, not just for the short term, but in the long term, because then anybody can call on us as a nation or president, the appointees or whatever, to lead negotiations or lead diplomatic engagements. So it is very important for us to now look at how we can build on that and leverage on, economic ties, defense, security, and all those aspects. It makes it easy to, attack or deal with any kind of threat in the region.
Yeah, so Doc, before you part company, how might this incident affect future collaborations on security issues in West Africa?
It won't, in my opinion, unless we don't take or learn from this instance. So now, what has happened now will tell us to better deal with each other in terms of security and defense. So it is important for all the security authorities, defense ministers, and one defense chiefs to now understand the regional dynamics, which keeps changing, and then adjust. So communication, the ties that I already talked about is very key in building. So if we have those in place, it makes it easy. If there should be any, mistakes on the part of any country, then you wouldn't sort of like point fingers and then accuse them or allege they want to overthrow or do anything untoward. So I think, in essence, what this does is to give us an opportunity to look at what went wrong and then correct it. It was better communication, engagements, and then build a strong bilateral relationship that already exists.
Doc, thank you so much for your time, and always a pleasure engaging your thought or expertise on topical issues like this. Dr. Victor Docker is a lecturer at the Faculty of Academic Affairs at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Away from that, 54-member engineer contingent from the Ghana Armed Forces arrived in Jamaica last evening to assist Jamaica in its recovery and rebuilding efforts following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. And with the assistance of United States military aircraft, the government and people of Ghana also sent relief supplies in addition to their personnel. As part of the assistance to Jamaica, the Ghana Armed Forces contingent will be working alongside the 1 Engineer Regiment of the Jamaica Defense Force to rehabilitate structures in Western Jamaica. Back to Ghana, Education Minister Haruna Idris was entreated striking teachers of the Colleges of Education (CTAC) to call off their strike since the government has intensified or initiated steps to pay their 41 million cedi arrears. CTAC has been on strike since November 24 of unpaid allowances. The strike affected all 46 colleges of education across the country. The minister made the call when he handed over 20 vehicles to the principals of the colleges of education here in Accra.
We need industrial peace and harmony on the campuses of learning. When you prolong your strike action, it does affect career planning and the career path development of the young people. I discussed with Honorable Finance Minister Atufos, and even this morning, I woke up to the same matter. We are mobilizing the 41 million to pay. So it is not as if we are not committed to pay. Last month when teachers didn't get some allowances, they should celebrate President Mahama. We've paid the allowances. Any of you who went to take your salary this month, those 2 outstanding allowances that were not paid by the controller have been honored.
Well, if you're just tuned in, you're watching Weekend Central here on TV3 with myself, and let us know what you make of stories that I've aired so far. We're active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. And now, let's speak to Max Obunu, who is the president of CTAC. and what exactly their concerns are regarding the statement by the sector minister. Mr. Bunu, the education minister says government has initiated steps to pay your 41 million cedis that is owed you. So as a president, what is the reaction to this reassurance? Mr. Bunu. Mr. Bunu is the president of CETAC, and he will be, joining us for update on this reassurance given by the sector minister to pay some 41 million cedis owed CETAC as they're on strike. It started somewhere in November this year. We'll be, updating you on this very development. We're trying to reach the president of CETAC. Mr. Bunu, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. If you can hear me. It seems we are finding it very difficult to reach out to him, but surely when you get through to him, we'll update you in our subsequent bulletins. And our Majority Leader, Mahama Ayariga, has denied claims of possible constitutional condemnment to grant President Mahama a third term, but says that choice lies with Ghanaians. Take a listen.
I know that due to the very, very excellent performance so far of John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians are asking him to seek a third term. I know that. I know that because I read on social media, I listen to conversations, and Ghanaians believe that as a result of the good deeds of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, they don't want him to leave the presidency.
They believe a third term is possible.
And they believe that a third term is possible. And they are demanding for a third term. But John Dramani Mahama has not given any indication that he wants to go for a third term. But I have always said that Ghanaians will be the ultimate deciders of the future of this country.
Before Parliament took a break on Friday, the Minority Leader also criticized his referral to the Privileges Committee of Ghana's ECOWAS Parliament delegation.
It is our prayer that the first Deputy Speaker and his committee will resist all temptations, are being pushed to do that which is never done in any democracy. The Minority Leader has not disrespected any order of this House. Indeed, the ECOWAS Parliament rejected outrightly the resolution that sought to remove the Minority Leader from his seat as an ECOWAS MP. The Minorities Leader's seat at ECOWAS Parliament is not one of those that can be removed. You can remove the Chief Justice. You can remove others who are political appointees, but not his bona fide right as a member of ECOWAS Parliament and a third Deputy Speaker. He shall remain until April 2028, when his tenure shall have come to an end. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much indeed.
Well, away from Parliament, let's go back to our earlier story bordering on the CETAC strike and engage the president of CETAC, Maxwell Bunu. Maxwell, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Maxwell, the sector minister says government has initiated steps to pay the 41 million cedis that is owed you as an association. What is your reaction to this reassurance?
All right, afternoon and afternoon to your listeners. Like the things that are over, I think I want to question was that it is our approach to this, what you want this to pay. I think the first thing I would like to say
Maxwell, we are actually struggling to hear you. So when we actually fix the telephone lines, we'll really reconnect and so our viewers can hear you better. But this is Weekend Central, and we are active on Facebook. Engage us with your comment, opinions, hopefully read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now, Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Abraham Amaliba, is urging investigative bodies handling the extradition of Ghana's former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to consider processes to freeze his assets as a means of forcing him to submit himself for extradition. On its part, political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, wants the United States government to reciprocate Ghana's continuous collaboration by equally extraditing Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana to face justice. Take a listen to these panelists.
We are accusing him of a number of things. One of it is matters relating to SML, matters relating to conflict of interest, sometimes outright corruption. IOCO and SOP have provisions in their law that says that you can freeze a man's property when these matters are being investigated. Ofori-Atta is using the resources that we claim were wrongly or ill-gotten to fight us in the U.S. court. What do? Don't you cut off the oxygen? Forget about his investment in the U.S. But in Ghana, can't you cut off the oxygen? Because those resources are what he's using. How many Ghanaians, if they want to be extradited, can afford top lawyers in the U.S.? So I'm asking the authorities, the IOCO and the SOP, what is delaying the freezing of Ofori-Atta's properties? We all agree that he needs to come back home and account.
If the country knows that Mr. ABCD has stolen and we have caught him red-handed, no amount of advocacy from a lawyer will save the situation if truth will prevail. If the government does not push, they must push the United States of America to do what is right. We cannot be saying that someone is sitting on our billions and you hide under the cover of laws in the U.S. and say that he must remain there while these twinkle latest Abu Trika and Co are only taking under 10 million, you come and quickly give them. No. But you see, Alfred, why we are where we are today is that our legislative arm has disappointed this country.
What do you mean?
The parliament of the last administration, the 7th and the 8th parliament, we must heap all the blames on them for not defending the integrity of this country. Ken Ofori-Atta, are you surprised with it? With what is happening? In 1999, 1998, the Obotan Development Limited scandal, that criminality, that took away $2.4 million from SNIT. Everyone who mattered in Ghana's politics knew of that. Some of us in 2017, when he was going for vetting, we petitioned Parliament that do not approve this man because SFO investigation has revealed that he has to be prosecuted for swindling the whole state institution.
You reference which SFO report again?
SFO report, I'll get you the report. I mean, SFO did a comprehensive report on the Obotan Development Limited. When they created the impression that they were going to put up assets. Here, this, your...
So what was the response of Parliament's Appointments Committee based on this?
They wouldn't even have courtesy to respond to you. They did not ask a single question on that matter. They approved him to be your Minister of Finance. That came, we thought that the MPP had an overwhelming majority then, so they could pass through. Then, thankfully, the Ghanaians did not do us any evil. They gave us a hung parliament. And here is where I come to the National Democratic Congress. They gave us a hung parliament in 2020. 2021, we went back and told them that do not approve Ken Ofori-Atta, for he would destroy this country. At that time, I was in the MPP.
I'm a big fan of the Big Push. I said it here. I really love Big Push. Yes. I want to see it, and I've said that. And I've also said that the government is responsible for some of the economic decisions they made. But that 24-hour is calm. Okay, let me come back. The government has extradited some Ghanaians already to the United States.
Absolutely.
And they were working. And they were working with the FBI to collect Shatawole's car, which I don't think they should collect that car. The point here is, why didn't they make a request for the repatriation of Sedina Tamaklu, who has actually been convicted of a crime? You have a woman there who has been convicted. In this case, you are not saying bring her back, let me prosecute her. No. The Court of Competent Justice has found her guilty. Now the Americans are saying, send us this man to prosecute the person. I think it should be a very easy, straightforward cut-off negotiation. Listen, hey, we've given you 2 people. Now also return the good faith. Show us good faith. The next person you want, put setting up on the flight. We also put this man on the flight. If you put setting up on the flight, Delta, United Airlines in Washington D.C. And we also put this person on the flight in Kotoka here. They will land at the same time. The inability or unwillingness of this government to exercise that option smacks of a certain level of cover-up or a certain level of unwillingness to bring that woman up.
My position has been that we have waited for far too long to get to this point. It's for me, it's quite sickening that, it's taken us a whole year of back and forth to get to this position. I think that by now, either the former finance minister should have been convicted if he indeed is guilty of the offenses, or the issues involving his office would have come to some level of closure so that we move on as a nation. We cannot spend a whole year now trying to get him back into this country and then spend another year or more to try and possibly take a decision as to whether to be convicted or not.
Now, government has laid before Parliament the Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulations 2025, aimed at introducing variable royalty bands for gold, lithium, and other minerals. The legislative instrument, LI, establishes a sliding scale framework that allows royalty rates to be adjusted in line with fluctuations in global commodity prices. There's more in this report.
Acting Environment Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa explained that based on current market prices, lithium attracts a royalty rate of 7%, which could rise to as much as 12% should prices increase. He addressed the press after laying the new instrument.
I'm proud to say that I have brought an elaborate regulation that gives us a sliding scale agreement. What is the advantage in that? The advantage is that it allows the state to capture the benefit in good times. This sliding scale also gives the companies consideration when prices tumble in difficult times. Then the adjustment will automatically also favor a lower royalties. What is important for investors, it gives them certainty that when the price tumble, we will not be in trouble.
That is not all. The new deal also introduces a 1% community development fund dedicated to financing infrastructure projects in the Infantiman municipality. The Natural Resources Minister noted that the deal applies to all mining agreements, offers greater certainty and predictability for both government and investors.
I am excited about an enhanced lithium agreement that also embodies for the first time a 1% community development fund for the community that would transform the Infantiman community so that when the resource is gone, we can look back and say that in this particular community, because of these resources, that is why we are seeing beautiful roads, we are seeing hospitals, we are seeing schools. That is what we've done.
Meanwhile, the minority has rejected the new deal, stating that Barari DV Ghana Limited had agreed to accept an agreement of 10% royalty rate even when lithium prices collapsed on the market. Ranking member of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, Kweku Aprechum Sapong, argues the deal undermines the public interest and weakens confidence in the country's resource governance framework.
One cannot reject a higher negotiated outcome in opposition and later defend a lower outcome in government using the same legal framework. That is not policy coherence, but policy regression.
Let's stay on the lithium agreement. President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, says Ghana is making a mockery of itself after proposing 7% royalty in the revised lithium agreement deal with Barari DV. According to him, it still does not make sense to revise a deal that was originally 10% to 7%. On Friday, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, laid before Parliament the Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulations 2025, aimed at introducing variable royalty bands for gold, lithium, and other minerals.
Now, if the argument that is being made, as I'm hearing right now, that, sliding scale is useful, which is, by the way, a good thing, but it will be based, whether it rises or falls, will be based on market performance of lithium, right? Now, just go back 2 years ago, when the last administration was about signing this deal with the same company, right? The price of lithium, the ore at the time, per ton was $800, right? Now, the people were willing to sign with a 10% royalty for Ghana. Listen carefully. Now, the cost of their own calculated cost of mining the ore was $610. So if you look at it critically, the margins they were going to make at the time was 20%, but they were willing to sign, including the 10% royalty. Listen carefully. Now, fast forward, new government has come. The minister says, I have the power. Yes, we know. But it's taking us back to 7% for a start and claiming that if the market conditions do well, then we'll go up. But the market conditions are better today, because today the price of lithium ore per ton is only $1,200. Why are you taking me back? If you then add that, we will start from 7, so that when the market conditions are better, then we move ahead. The point I'm making is that when your predecessors before signed, the market rate was $800 per ton, and the royalty was 10%. Even then, we disagree with them, because they said they should conduct a feasibility study first. Do you know how mocking and mockery this whole thing sounds? It's as if we are doing everything and throwing ourselves at this investor. Look, I'm a capitalist. I'm a private sector person, but I don't condone what I'm beginning to see like crony capitalist arrangement. It doesn't make sense to me. If you want the company to do, why are you giving them federal concessions when the price of lithium today is $1,000? They're making for.
Well, you're watching Weekend Central here on TV3. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us. following the deployment of security detail and the reconstruction of median barriers, which served as routes for recalcitrant pedestrians. Hitherto, passengers preferred crossing the N4 highway directly amid the posing risks and dangers. In the span of 7 years, 54 lives have been lost at the Madina Zongo Junction. This new enforcement primarily seeks to reduce the crashes that recur at the Madina Zongo Junction. After several failed attempts, the La Inquantana Madina Municipal Assembly Landmark has put measures in place to achieve this purpose. The Sanitation Task Force, together with police personnel from the Madina Police Station, are manning the area. Before the reconstruction of median barriers, pedestrians had damaged part of it for access to the N4 highway. They say directly using the highway was convenient for them as the provided footbridges were long and winding.
58 lives have been lost here due to the fact that pedestrians are ignoring to use the footbridge and rather using the main road. So if things continue to remain the same, more lives will be lost here.
The footbridge, it'll be too long for us. So if you're the climber, your legs are the pain. And at the same time, see where the footbridge is. You see, here's the main junction. So when you are crossing, it makes tough time.
I shouldn't have done that because I ordered my card and I don't want the driver to keep waiting. So I'm hurrying trying to cross.
So next time will you use the footbridge?
Yes, I'll try.
You promise?
Yes, I promise.
You're not supposed to pass here.
I'm not going to pass.
Yeah, you're supposed to use the footbridge.
My parents will have passed here.
Your parents? Who are your parents? So next time use the footbridge.
The assembly assured of the sustainability of the new enforcement.
It can't knock people within that stretch from, let's say, from Atomic Junction to Reese Junction for almost about 57, 55 people. And most of them are dead. Some have dislocated arm, dislocated legs that cannot be as the person that he used to be. So I believe that if you want your life, then it is better you focus using the bridge than to cross within the streets, because a car can knock you easily and you lose your life, which is more dangerous.
Traders who are selling at the edges of the footbridge have also been cleared. Hopefully this enforcement is sustained for the betterment of drivers and pedestrians alike. Away from that, Ghana's electricity consumption has risen to an all-time peak, presenting fresh challenges for the country's power sector. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Don Abdullah Jinapor, says the surge in demand is compelling governments to intensify efforts to sustain power generation and promote efficient usage nationwide. According to the sector minister, maintaining a stable power supply amid rising consumption will require a mix of strategic investment, prudent energy management, and stronger public cooperation. Take a listen.
Yesterday, I got a message from Gridco that our peak demand has reached an all-time high. That's about 4,300 megawatts. So we are seeing a very huge increase in terms of energy consumption. And that also presents a challenge. It means that we have to work very hard to sustain the lights and keep the lights on. And so in the coming months, we'll have to double our efforts and work very, very hard to ensure that we have stable supply of power. But also in the petroleum sector, we need to double up and increase production, because that ultimately affects the living conditions of people as well as the downstream. But more importantly, roll out a lot of renewable energy to reduce the burden. Those of us in the ministry will continue to work very hard, very challenging, but so far we are holding on, we are making significant improvements, and we'll continue to work to deliver on our mandate.
And now, as the Yuletide approaches, emergency agencies are stepping up efforts to prevent fire disasters in the capital. Ghana Water Limited, Accra West Region, and the Ghana National Fire Service have held talks to resolve long-standing challenges affecting the use of fire hydrants during emergencies.
Fire hydrants are a vital lifeline for firefighters, especially in densely populated communities. But in part of Accra, that lifeline is under threat, with hydrants concealed by shops and other structures, making access difficult during emergencies. Combined with low water pressure and rationing, the situation often forces fire tenders to travel long distances for water, allowing fires to escalate. Against this backdrop, Ghana Water Limited and the Ghana National Fire Service are exploring stronger collaboration to improve emergency response, particularly during the high-risk festive season and beyond.
Urbanization has affected our ability to serve all. In Accra, we get more than 5 million people in a day. They all not stay here. By they come and do business, everybody needs water, everybody has to use the water one way or the other. All right? And the expansion has delayed. Wager has to be expanded, Bong has to be expanded, all those expansions have delayed. All right? So we do equitable distribution.
As part of the proposals, the Fire Service is advocating the introduction of pillar fire hydrants, which are more visible and difficult to conceal.
Sometimes after going through all this toil to identify hydrants and mapping them that strategically, that knowing that this hydrant is functioning, there's a hydrant here, by the time you come the next day or a week when there's an emergency you want to use it, the place virtually looks new to you because there's a container placed there. So in going forward, where there's a need for a pillar hydrant, the pillar hydrant must go. Where there's a need for a buried one, then we'll go there. All we need to do is that we have to all collaborate and safeguard the hydrants so that people will not misuse it, will not turn the place into a rubbish dump or tamper with it.
The discussions also highlighted accountability, noting that water used by the Ghana National Fire Service from hydrants is ultimately paid for by consumers, reinforcing the need to protect and properly manage these facilities. With fire outbreaks often rising during the festive season, the public is being urged to view hydrants not as obstacles to development, but as a life-saving asset. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
In northern Ghana, where access to potable water remains a major challenge, a silent killer is lacking. Rivers that often teemed with life are now mixed with deadly pollutants, poisoned by the activities of illegal miners, that's galamseyers, and posing a grave threat to communities and wildlife. Correspondent Christopher Marco has the rest of the story.
Illegal mining activities have over the years polluted water bodies across the country with toxic chemicals such as mercury and cyanide. This has affected aquatic life and the livelihoods of fishermen who depend on fish from these water bodies to survive, while farmers struggle to irrigate their crops. In communities along the White and Black Volta rivers, residents are reporting illnesses.
We have recorded cases like unidentified sex. We have recorded cases like cleft palate, gastrochesis from that side.
Mark is a 35-year-old fisherman from Nawuni, a community in the Kumbungu district of the northern region. His village, like many others in the Tamale metropolis, depend on the Nawuni River for its livelihood.
We are young. In fact, me like this, if you come to fishing like this, within seconds you are going to the house. You not spend a lot of time. But today, someone can go this morning or less the next day before the first thing. The person who can, when he account for you, you will give up because the money is not there.
However, it appears that the river is beginning to pose serious health concerns. The culprits are galamsey operators in the upstream Volta River basin who use toxic chemicals to extract gold and wash them into the river.
There are people here, the way they are doing it, they are destroying the vegetation cover. And which is supposed to be there so that the fish can be hidden inside there. And those who are doing the farming around the river boundary too, when you spray, the chemicals and all those things are also, when it's rain, it washes everything into the water.
Apart from the pollution of these water bodies and destruction of the environment, education in mining areas is also being affected. Mohammed Aisha is a teacher at Tinga, a mining community in the Bole district of the Savannah region.
Most of our students leave school and go for galamsey. And this has a lot of issues when it comes to education, because sometimes they mix classes and a lot. So when it comes to exams, they can't write anything for us. Some of them, we are not able to talk to them because when you talk, they ask you how much is your salary at the end of the month. Because they can take a day or 1 week to make what you get as a teacher.
The Tili River in the Upper East region, the Zongoyiri River in the Upper West region, as well as the Jamboyiri River, which flows downstream into the White and Black Volta rivers, for instance, have been heavily polluted.
People access that water. People go to their farms and they use the water. We also have fishermen who go there to look for fish. And others also go there for various activities, economic activities, and they use the water. So that is a serious concern to us.
Research conducted by the Water Research Institute of the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research with support from Tama Foundation reveals high concentrations of heavy metals in the Black and White Volta rivers.
So right now, what we have found out that there is certain levels of cadmium, the lead, and chromium, and then with the cyanide also showing up, even much more than mercury. And we are seeing that this is of concern, and something should really be looked at in the an eye on the Volta River system.
Health officials in communities along the White and Black Volta rivers are worried about the increasing levels of pollution caused by heavy metals.
Abnormalities are bound to happen. But my worry is where we are now with the Galamsey ongoing. That is my worry, because I wouldn't be able to tell whether it's just abnormalities that have come or it's as a result of the mercury and the cyanide that are being released in our water bodies and our farms. I drink water here. I buy food stuff. I eat food here. So I should be worried.
Despite government efforts to curb illegal mining, the destruction continues.
In terms of the socioeconomics of mining, it's likely the youth, aged between 18 to 35. And these are strong, energetic people who should either be pursuing a skill or be working in sustainable areas. But they're all caught up in the mining. And there were a lot of testimonies on the ground as to how young people have left school to run into mining and the implication of that for our future human resources of this country.
Recently, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, during its 5th Assembly meeting in Damongo, called on the government to announce more radical actions against illegal mining.
The persistent devastation of Galamsey compels us to call upon our dear President to announce even more radical action against this menace.
It is therefore imperative for the government to intensify its efforts in dealing with the crisis. Until then, water bodies, the environment, and the future of school-going children in mining communities will continue to be affected.
As teachers, parents, governments, I think we all have a lot to do to keep these students at school, because they are our future leaders. If not, Galamsey will take them away from us.
Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Nawuni, Kobongo District.
Let's still stay in northern Ghana, as the Northern Regional Office of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has destroyed several quantities of unregistered and unwholesome products worth thousands of Ghana cedis. The products were seized between September and December following market surveillance activities carried out within this period and to rid of substances and products that do not conform with market regulations. And this is the third time in a year the office has destroyed such products. Well, Christopher Marco is a Savannah regional correspondent, and he was at the Gbatile landfill site where these products were destroyed, and he joins us Zoom with more updates. Chris, it seems the fight against harmful substances in the northern region have been intensified. How are stakeholders reacting to this very development?
Yeah, so George, you know that in recent past, when it comes to issues of substance abuse, the northern region was one of many regions in the country that you could find most of these activities going on. But in recent past, just some few months ago, about 2 or 3, the stakeholders in the region have intensified the fight against these substances, with the Food and Drugs Authority taking center stage. As we speak, they have seized some substances through their surveillances at the marketplaces that are believed to be unwholesome for human consumption. And so once we are approaching the Christmas festivities, they have also intensified their monitoring to ensure that the food that comes into the region, as well as other substances at the various chemical and pharmacy shops, are ones that are consumable. And so these exercises are geared towards ensuring that the residents within these catchment areas do not contract any illnesses or consume substances that will affect their health. And so they have yesterday gone to destroy some substances they have seized over the period worth thousands of Ghana cedis. Let's take a listen to what the Food and Drugs Authority has been saying.
What we have ongoing here is the safe disposal of products ranging from unregistered to unwholesome products that we seized over a period of time in our market surveillance activities. So we carry out market surveillance activities routinely to raid our markets and our shopping centers of products that do not conform to regulation. So, for instance, you have a lot of pharmaceutical products as part of these products, and your cameras, I'm sure, captured tramadol and other pharmaceutical products, some of which are unregistered. Some of these drugs are registered, but however, there are specific protocols for the handling and dispensing of restricted products, of which tramadol is one of them. And so most of these products were found in over-the-counter.
And Chris, before you wrap up with us, is there any assurance given by FDA that this is going to be a periodic exercise? Because once it's a one-off, people can still infiltrate the markets. And we're having issues connecting to my colleague, Christopher Marco. He's our Savannah regional correspondent. This takes us to a second break. We're back with more news. Stay with us. North Akwete Agbo has announced a comprehensive slate of development projects across the municipality, spanning education, health, road, sanitation, agriculture, and security. Addressing journalists in Accra, the MC said road accessibility remains a challenge in the municipality.
A major update from the MC was the relocation of bus operations from the congested Pokwasi bus stop to a newly prepared terminal at SCP Junction. He described the move as part of the Assembly's broader decongestion strategy to ease traffic and enhance public safety, especially during the Christmas season. The MC announced several key interventions in the health sector, including of a CHIPS compound at Afiaman, resolution of the water challenges at Amanfrom, and construction of 4 new CHIPS compounds. He said the Assembly remains committed to closing infrastructure gaps and addressing long-standing community challenges despite limited revenue. The Ghana North Municipal Assembly has indicated that it will improve on sanitation during the festive season, whilst a directive has been issued against open defecation and littering.
Ghana North is one of the assemblies within the Greater Accra region that is facing challenges in terms of accessibility, road. Most of our roads are very, very bad. So the assembly this year, we've been able to embark on a lot of building works. That's road shaping, right? And so we did a lot. We did a road shaping at Amanfrom, Abensu, Ayawaso, and part of Ofanko.
The body of 54-year-old Kujo Della Adovo, who was allegedly murdered on a farm in Pale Zoze, a community in the West District of the Volta region, has been released to the families for burial. The victim went missing from his farm in September, only for the body to be found buried in a nearby stream, a situation that left residents in fear. Meanwhile, the whole District Court 1 has, for the second time, remanded into prison custody a 28-year-old man, Frank Zenyo, who has been arrested in connection with this gruesome murder. Well, let's listen to the Bishop Goldsmith, leader for Justice for Kujo, a youth group from the community demanding justice for the victim after court proceedings.
We went for autopsy of the body. Whatever they were looking for, we are very sure they have found. The body has since been released to the family for burial. The case has been adjourned to 19th of March next year, and we are very sure, we are very optimistic that justice will be served. Right now, we know that after investigations, the docket will have to travel to Attorney General's office for an advice. So full trial has not begun yet.
Well, that's all time will allow us this very afternoon, and this production, of course, has been produced by Portia Gabo. For more news updates, just log on to our website, it's3news.com. And it's safe to wish you Merry Christmas in advance. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.